Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Born Free here. Thank you so much for the incredible positivity and support over the last few days. The Goichi interview, I was so excited to get that out because it was a Dragon Ball FighterZ interview. So I'm now doing Street Fighter and Dragon Ball FighterZ, and hopefully I can do more and more games. Because at EVO, I actually did Tekken and I did a bunch of anime games and all sorts of stuff. I love getting to know these players, and I love, doing that stuff so that you feel more connected to these players as well. Now, last year, you crowdfunded me to go to NCR and to Austin DreamHack. Now, that was your idea, not mine, and I was incredibly humbled and so excited to do it, and I brought back some great interviews, I believe, including the infamous Bonchan one. This year, I'm in a similar sort of situation. I don't have the money or financial means that I had from years gone by where I could just spend all my own money on flying out and lodging and all that sort of stuff. I actually need your help. Now, you guys told me to be more aggressive about this, so I'm doing that right now, and I'm asking you for your help. There's a Patreon link down there. Check it out. If you can give me $1 a month, 500 of the thousands of you, if you gave me $1, I'd have 500 bucks and I could probably make it to NCR. I'm sure I could make it work. But anyway, I've held you up. Check out this video. It's coming one of these ways. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Born Free here. I'm at final round and I'm with Nakkiel. How are you today?
I'm good. I just finished my pools. They were at 10 a.m. I won my pool, so I'm just kind of waiting for top 32, which is in a few hours now. I didn't sleep very much last night, so I'm a little tired. Gonna go take a nap after this.
Well, were you nervous? Or was it just that you were out with friends?
Yeah, I got roped into talking with a couple friends a lot longer than I intended. So I played for an hour. I was just mashing with somebody in the 24/7 room.
Oh, you were? And how was the competition in your pool?
It's
pretty easy.
No comment.
Okay, fair enough. So you're in top 32 or top 64?
It's top 32.
Top 32. Congratulations. All right, awesome. So tell me the story. I've heard it once, everybody, but we're gonna hear it for you. Can you please tell me the story behind your name, Nakkiel?
It's from a song I used to listen to a lot, kind of when I was falling asleep when I was growing up. I used to have another handle, but I changed it a couple years ago, and that popped up into my head, and it just kind of stuck.
Just stuck, and you just registered like that in competitions and stuff?
Yeah, I just kind of slowly changed it on my Twitter. I changed my name on Twitter to it, and I left my handle the same so people could message me still and not get confused, but eventually I just changed it fully.
So tell me a little bit about your history in fighting games. What was the first game you ever played, and then when did you start getting competitive?
The first fighting game I ever played was some version of Street Fighter 2. I used to play with my dad, but I was 8, something like that. Sorry. But when I was a teenager, I would rent games at Blockbuster, Hollywood Video or something like that. And I remember seeing the cover of Guilty Gear, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. So I just rented it and I played it by myself pretty much for a while until I met one of my friends in high school who also happened to play the game. So we started playing together, and then eventually he was on GameFAQs or something. He's there's this website called Dust Loop, and I looked, and there's people in our area. He's but he was too shy to post himself. So he's you got to do it, and you got to go alone first, because he's I don't want to go meet these people. So
you got to go alone first.
Yeah, I went alone to the first meetup that I had gone to.
Wow, he's really shy.
And there's a lot of those people I've been good friends with. I was 17 at the time. I'm 27 now, so it was 10 years ago. And I still talk to all of them. So not only did I meet really good friends, but that's how I got started being competitive, because I went and I'd never played anybody, so they basically beat the hell out of me.
Did you make a mental decision at some point where you were I want to be really good?
It was probably definitely at that meetup.
Almost immediately, you were I want to be good.
I liked playing already, and me and my friend had a rivalry together, just always trying to be better than each other. But I went and I lost to them, and I was just thinking in my head, you know, is like, this is like kind of egotistical, but I feel like if you compete, you are, you know, a little bit somewhere. But I was like, they're not that much smarter than me. Like, I can do this. And so I guess that just kind of started it. And I started playing a lot. And then the first version of BlazBlue came out, and I really didn't like it. So I was playing like Melty Blood for a little while because they kind of came out around the same time.
Sorry, I'm laughing because of the Melty Blood memes. Just picturing you in a bathroom stall.
Yeah, I went to the official Evo it had in 2010. Yeah. So we had one time where we were inside at least. Yeah. But the second version of BlazBlue came out, Continuum Shift 1, and that was when I really got into BlazBlue. And so I put Guilty Gear on the back burner then. And, the game hadn't had a new version in a long time. So it was kind of dwindling for, like, entrance and stuff. And BlazBlue was popular, for, like, the Air Dasher community. So I just stuck with that game until pretty much recently when Dragon Ball came out. I'm just on a break from BlazBlue right now because I feel like juggling Dragon Ball and BlazBlue is, like, really hard because the games are pretty different, just mechanically. And I really want to do well in Dragon Ball because I feel like it's just a good opportunity as a player. Yeah, so
I think so. It's so popular at the moment, and it feels like a fun game.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll talk about Dragon Ball in 1 second. I just wanted to quickly ask you before that, what has been your proudest moment so far up until this point?
Probably Evo 2014. I was the only American in top 8 in BlazBlue.
And that was one hell of a top 8.
Yeah, the top 8 was really good that year. And even like the matches right before pools, I guess, had ended. Like going into top 8 the day before, there were also a lot of good matches then. And so because I was the only American in top 8 that year, I got flown to Japan for Arc Revo and got to pick a teammate. So that was probably my proudest moment. But I always want to do better. So like even that, is like not satisfying enough. Yeah. So, but that's probably the number one that I usually give people when they ask. So,
that's an incredible achievement. Absolutely. I was actually there. And I remember, funnily enough, I was kind of sitting through BlazBlue. Right, because I didn't know anything about the game. Right, yeah. I was just it was back in the day. I say back in the day. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but like
it was.
I mean, like
quite a few years ago.
What I mean is, like in the last 2 years, Evo's been in a stadium, but it was at the time when Evo wasn't in a stadium, right? So.
I actually forget.
Well, the point was it was in a ballroom, so you had to go and sit at the front. If I wanted to be at the front for Street Fighter, I had to sit at the front from the morning, all the way through every single. I had to watch Smash, I had to watch like whatever, and so I would try and find try and be as interested as I could. But sometimes if you didn't have people around you who knew the game, you don't know what's going on. But with BlazBlue, that was an insane top 8, and I'll never forget it, just because of all the emotions involved. So.
Like people in the crowd like crying and stuff. It was crazy. But that was funny because I remembered walking into the ballroom during Street Fighter and I couldn't see anything because they had all the lights off and like there were so many people. I couldn't see people's like faces like 10 feet out. I was like went to look for my friends and I was just like, all right, this isn't happening. Yeah. So I just kind of like wandered off. I don't remember what I was doing, but I wanted to watch Street Fighter, but it was just like I hadn't been sitting in there, so. Yeah. There was nowhere to sit at all.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's the thing. You have to get in there super early. Anyway, let's talk about Dragon Ball. So when it was first announced, right, and I guess you figured out that it was being made by Arxis. Like, what was your reaction?
I actually really didn't pay attention to the announcement at all. Funnily enough, because it was at E3 and then Evo. Last year, and they had the booth, and I didn't touch it. I was entered in Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, so I was just like busy playing pretty much. And I thought about going to try it, but I was like, I was like a lot of people. Like when they first saw it, people were like, "Oh my god, it's a Dragon Ball game." And then some people were like, "It looks too easy. Like, doesn't look that interesting." And I had kind of fallen into that, but I got invited to go exhibit the game at PAX in Seattle,
Okay.
And so I was like, I'll go. It'll be fun, I guess. I'll go give it a shot. And I was playing it there, and I was like, this is actually really fun. Obviously, I didn't know like the nitty gritty of the game or anything like that, but I could see it, right? So like, I remember making a post that that got a bunch of attention because I was like, everyone calling it easy is like, I don't feel like you played it, or like maybe you're not that experienced with fighting games potentially, because I even though I don't compete in everything, I play like a lot of fighting games. Like I play Street Fighter, I play Mortal Kombat games, I've played Tekken, CVS2, like Marvel games. So I dabble in a lot of things, and I could definitely see that there was like a lot of room for development in just like players like expressing themselves in the game.
Well, we've seen that. There's, I don't know, like Clayton Chapman's channel, for instance. You watch that every week. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, some new crazy combo, because like not everyone has a knack for that either. Like some people just don't find things like that. I'm a terrible like lab monster. Like I'll go training mode like defensive stuff, or like my combos that I already know to make sure I can do them in tournament. But as far as finding like the combo movie stuff, like that's definitely not.
I feel like those people see the Matrix, like that's how they see the game. Like they're half the time to me they're talking another language. So now that you have a good grasp of the game, do you have like things that you like and things that you dislike, or things that you would like to see improved in the future?
Yeah, I think all three of those actually. I have thoughts on those. I like the game for the most part, actually. Mostly everything I really enjoy right now. I like the way the neutral plays. It's pretty much like a perfect mix between a Marvel game and like an Air Dasher game. Like it just feels like a good in between, kind of just meet in between. You have your assists, but they have longer cooldowns than usual. Most of the assists aren't as powerful as some of the ones you would see in Marvel, but they're still impactful. And then, you have like the classic like air dasher movement. You got like you can run, you can air dash, like you can jump twice, all that stuff. And then you have like super dash on top of it and everything like that, which is one of the things I'm not a huge fan of. Not super dash as a whole, but the way it sometimes like just turns around. I don't know if you've ever seen it yet, but sometimes people will super dash and like it'll just go off in some completely crazy BS direction. And I would like to see that get fixed or like go, because you can't even plan for it. Like it's an accident. Like even the player who did it, like you don't plan for something like that. At least not yet. Like nobody's intentionally doing stuff like that. So it feels kind of bad to get hit by it. And when you do it, you're just like, okay, I lucked out. Like cool. So it's not really engaging, I guess. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, I made a good decision. It's just like, I got lucky. My super dash decided 360 and then
I've seen
crossed them up and hit them, and I won. So like, yay! I know a lot of people don't like Vanish, and I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, but shilling it. But my next YouTube video is going to be about Vanish because I've been training moding a lot of answers to it, like a lot of the ways people use it. Aren't necessarily safe to even do, but people don't like have the reaction yet. They don't even know. I've talked to a couple like strong players too, and I've told them, they're like, no, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, because you're on the other side of the bracket from me, so I'll tell you. I don't want to see you I don't want to see you lose to this. Like we got to beat Japan.
They still gotta get the muscle memory down.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so I don't mind Vanish as much anymore, just because I feel like there are answers to it. In some situations there's not. It can be hard to deal with, but I mean that's fighting games. Even some of the most basic things, like Ryu's throwing a fireball at me and like, oh god, what do I do? Sometimes it feels like that, and it's just a quarter circle. It doesn't mean you nerf it. You gotta learn to deal with it, basically, which is what I've been working on. So for stuff that I'd like to improve, probably like some of the characters. I feel like the top tier right now, they're really strong, but they're also really fun. Like all of them are super fun. They feel really complete as characters. and it's an Arxis game, so like it's like they might just buff them, you know, like they've definitely buffed top tiers before.
How do you feel about the? I mean, yesterday we watched. I mean, you play adult Gohan as well.
Yes.
And there was a lot of like block. You know, the crazy long
the lightning leg block string, his machine gun kicks. I do think they should do something about it. I have an idea of what I think they should do about it, because I think it would just improve the game overall. Is guard cancel is really bad. Okay. The guard cancel option is like really weak, especially against like the top tier characters, because their offensive options they have a lot. And because guard cancel is so unsafe, if you're wrong, you can definitely lose the game right there. Like you'll lose a character, and then you're like it starts snowballing out of control. So I really think they should do. I think they should make guard cancel like right now it's easily punishable. Like if they block it, you get full comboed. So I'd rather see something like it costs a bar. You can hit it before it touches you. So I think they should leave that in, but if you block it, I feel like it should just be negative but safe. Like I feel like you shouldn't get punished for it, but you should be negative. So like you can't push a button.
Okay.
Like they still get their offense, but unless they outright beat your guard cancel, you know, because like even in BlazBlue or Guilty Gear, they have similar mechanics, and you can still like use an invincible move through that game's guard cancel and just beat it, or you know like you can jump cancel and like go over it. And then punish the recovery. But with guard cancel being the way it is, it's not as fast. There's like a screen freeze when it happens. So like if they haven't done anything yet, they know it's coming. They can like anti-air it. You can super it. You can do a bunch of things with guard cancel if you feel like you're not going to be able to block it. So I would just like to see that if you do block it, that you don't die.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. And hopefully they'll see this video, they'll see the feedback. All right, so I want to talk about your team. So your current team is, what is your current team?
My current team and its order is Kid Buu, Super Saiyan Goku, and then Adult Gohan, in that order.
Okay, so we'll talk about the order in a minute, but like, why did you pick that team?
Originally in the closed beta, I was playing 18, Vegeta, and Frieza. But that was in the closed beta. There was like only 11 characters.
Oh yeah, they had a set. Yeah.
I remember when I was, you know, I streamed the closed beta, and then I was streaming like the open beta, and a lot of people were like, "Are you ever gonna play any other characters?" And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, "Well, I'm a competitive person. It's like I want to put time like into the characters I'm enjoying, so that I feel like I know them well." But during the open beta, I was like, okay, there's a few new characters. Like my exact same team's still in, like from the closed beta. But I was like, let's try something new. So I had already planned on switching to Goku off of Vegeta. Because he was a little different in the previous versions of the game before the game was actually released. I think he was weaker than he is now.
Okay.
So I had made the plan to switch him for Super Saiyan Goku, but the other two characters were up in the air, and I was like, well, Kid Buu and Adult Gohan look fun in the open beta, so I just picked them like day one and started playing them from there. And I was having a ton of fun with them. People kept asking me like, "Are you gonna go back to Android 18 or whatever?" And I was just like, "I don't think so. Actually, I think like this is a fun team." When the game came out, I was still playing it, and I was considering changing it up still. I had a bunch of different ideas in mind, but because I thought like maybe I was like lacking something on my team composition, but the more I play it, the more I like it. I might change Goku, I don't know, just because Vegeta assist is like really ridiculous right now.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Yeah,
it might come, it might not, I don't know. But Kid Buu and Gohan are definitely staying on the squad, and I think they're both extremely powerful characters too, so that they have that going for them.
So talking of, you know, potentially changing Goku maybe to Vegeta or somebody else, what do you feel your team is? Do you feel like my team is lacking something, or do you feel like my team just could be better?
It's definitely a could be better kind of thing. I really like the order I run it in now.
Tell me about the order. Tell me why the order is the order.
So I was originally playing Gohan first, and I think Kazunoko does as well, and Goichi. But I don't personally like playing him first. I don't think it's bad at all. Not at all. But I have Kid Buu's assist, and so it's not really like neutral. It doesn't help in neutral, basically, unlike Vegeta's, which most certainly does. So I have like my beam assist, but otherwise, like Gohan's options in neutral they're strong, but they're also really straightforward. So it was kind of just boring, I guess, for me to run him point. Yeah. I really like playing him though. I like it a lot, but I kind of like it when I can get in, like he's already leveled up, and like I was also coming across where it's just my skill as a player, obviously, because if I never got touched, it wouldn't be a problem. But a lot of times when I started getting started my offense with Gohan, I would have lost some life. You know, I'd be like unhealthy. So if I got hit again, he would just die. So instead, I started running Kid Buu on point because I was like, okay, like he has like all these like long normals, right? He's like a Dhalsim character, I guess. You know, like obviously not a 1-to-1, but he has really long normals. He has a lot of projectiles that he can like control space with, and probably one of the best things about him is he has these stomps on the ground. When you're holding down and you hit the medium button, if you're holding like down back or down forward, his foot like goes somewhere different on the screen.
Okay.
So like the down forward one goes like almost full screen. So like when people are fighting him on the ground, like you have to like be really careful.
He's a lot trickier in neutral for the opponent.
Yeah, and he doesn't need a whole lot of meter either. So I kind of like store up the meter for Gohan. His super can let Gohan do like 2 supers right after it too, so I can do a bunch of damage with him when I land a hit. If you get hit by like the full screen stomp, like he can do the other ones, and like it drags you all the way over to him. So like if he hits you with one of them, like you get pulled all the way over to him. He does a full combo on you, so like he gets all that meter and damage, and he's basically like, you know, softening their team up for Gohan. And then when Gohan comes in, I have the Kid Buu assist, which like he throws out the little orb, and if you block it, like it starts like spinning on you, and it keeps you there for like a pretty long amount of time. And you know, like I get to do my mix-up, so I feel like they complement each other pretty well. And then I have like Goku's, you know, beam assist in the back, and then he can like double super by himself too, so like he can also do a lot of damage. And he doesn't really have any mix-up, but he has like air beams, like Kamehameha and stuff like that, so he can control space pretty well too. So like I have 2 characters that I feel like control space pretty well. And then I have Gohan to like basically like snowball and close out a game.
Back in Marvel, you know, Marvel 3, there was a very strong point of view about how to build a team based on like the mechanics of the game. Do you feel like there's a similar? I mean, what advice would you give to somebody who is building a team?
So I've seen a lot of people try to make like Marvel-esque teams, and originally I was also thinking that way, but I don't think it's that strong in this game unless you can kind of do it, but it's kind of a cop-out because like if you pick the top tiers to make that team, like I feel like it's just the characters are so strong that it still works.
Yeah.
Even though if you were like to go down the tier list, I don't think that team composition is as strong. You know, like if you make like a really Gohan focused team, which is basically Kazunoko's team. Kazunoko runs Gohan on point, and he has Goku Black and then Vegeta, and he does like absolutely everything he can to keep Gohan alive, no matter what. Like he'll like just risk tagging out at some weird time just to get Gohan out if he's like missing a lot of life. So I think he plays a pretty Marvel-ish idea for the team. You know, he's got his assists, but even then, that's more like, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's more like Marvel 2, where if you lost like your first character or two, like your last character was probably not doing much, or they were like somebody like Captain Commando who was just there for the assist.
So like putting Marvel aside for a moment, if someone was to say to you like, I want to build a team, like what would you say?
Usually what I recommend, I get that question a lot. Usually what I recommend is try to play like the characters you really like first, and see how they work together. Honestly, the game's still early, so we don't know everything. But I think one of the things is just making sure your characters just complement each other in some way, or they either make the strong things about them stronger, or the weak things about them aren't as weak. Like they don't come up as often. Like if you have like a really offensive character, but they can't play neutral, like maybe put them second. Put somebody like Kid Buu or Android 21 first, who have like fantastic buttons, because you can just tag mid combo like pretty freely in the game. So that's one of the mechanics where people started doing like, okay, my point character is actually my second character or my third character. The team order doesn't matter that much in this game, because even when you're doing like in Marvel and DHC, it goes in the order of your team. Like when you do super after super after super and you tag out your characters, it goes in the order of your team. But in Dragon Ball, you pick. You can pick what order the supers come out. So your team order is basically, it doesn't matter, except who do I want to start the game with, and if that character happens to die, am I okay with the next character coming out automatically? But other than that, it doesn't mean anything. It just changes what buttons you're pressing for your assists or your supers or something like that. But then there's also the blue life mechanic in the game. Basically, like 50% of all the damage you take is blue life, and if you tag out, you start recovering it. So making sure your team can tag, right, and still function. Like maybe it's not an ideal situation, but you're not like a fish out of water, right? Like, okay, like I brought out Nappa or something like that, and the assists I have for Nappa.
Wait, who does that?
Right. But it might happen. You might have Nappa on your team or something, and for some reason, your assists don't complement him at all, right? And now you're missing an entire mechanic of the game, because like, how do you play while your other character's recovering their life if you can't do anything? And Nappa's just a big sitting duck, and you don't have anything to help him out doing offense or playing defense or anything in the game, right? Because your assists are super important. And then there's all the other little things like, okay, like I can do a bunch of extra supers because like, they all work together a certain way.
Okay, so the main thing is, it seems like the main thing is that
Synergy,
looking for a good neutral,
synergy,
good neutral character to at least start the game with. And that's trying to find that synergy with assists and all that sort of stuff. I want to ask you some pretty random questions, actually. I was thinking about over the last few days, because I saw some weird stuff. I saw the video of Goichi where he summoned Shenron. And it suddenly occurred to me, like, this may become like a... do you think about it when you're playing? No.
Because the conditions are... They're basically ridiculous, and like in the context of the game, that is the only time I have seen that come up in an actual like competitive match. I've seen it come up online. People will go for it on purpose, but I think between like in competitive play, I do not think... I'd be surprised if that happens again within the next couple months.
Could you imagine? Like in my head, I always go to extremes. So I'm like, imagine the last game of Evo.
I think the crowd would erupt. Honestly,
of course. It would be wild.
I think when it comes up, it's interesting, and it's obviously impactful when it does happen. But the conditions for it to happening, I guess if you don't know the conditions.
No, I know the conditions for it, and I'm sure that.
For the video, basically, like, you collect the Dragon Balls throughout the match. One of the ways you collect Dragon Balls is by doing a combo that has the amount of hits of the star you want.
Yeah, it's like 10.
As 20, a multiple of 10. So, like, 10 to 19 is the 1 star, 20 to 29, right? So, like, maybe your team can't even do that number of hits of the combo, right? And you can't even get it. Maybe the other dude will get it, because the Dragon Balls are shared. But the other main way to get them is you can get a random one by doing a full auto combo, which is light, light, and then light. And if you do anything else, you don't get the full auto combo. So to like collect the random ones, you basically sacrifice like any amount of damage you were actually gonna get, right? Like your combo does like half as much damage as it was gonna do. You don't get in most cases, you don't get like a really good knockdown anymore. So like you can actually potentially give up your momentum too, like trying to collect a Dragon Ball. But even then, once you have all 7, you have to summon him with an auto combo, and you have to have 7 bars. You have to have all your meter.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that Goichi got it when he's down, they're both down to their last characters, and he had 7 bars is like, that's extremely rare. Because if you're fighting, right, like so many characters have like, especially like somebody like Goichi's team, like some of his metered options are really strong. So it's also surprising that he even had 7 bars. You know, when they're down to the wire with their last characters and you still have 7 bars, it's like, okay, well, what was going on? But I feel like, you know, they weren't doing auto combos before that. It just happened that they had gathered all 7 Dragon Balls. It was it was like an accident.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, have you yet been in a situation where you're like, oh, wait a second, there's like 6 or you know.
I'll notice it when it hits 5. Okay. Basically, that was kind of like the number I set for myself, because I was like, if it hits 5, I'll consider thinking about it, because that's also like, if I want to summon him and I'm winning, I have to hit them at least 3 times and auto combo them 3 times. It's like, I can kill a character in 2. Right? So like that's the kind of way I was thinking about it. It was like, yeah, you can collect Dragon Balls, but like I could also just remove your character from the game, right? Like you can't wish for that. Like so but yeah, he got it. He had like really low life on Vegeta, and he was down in the set, right? Like he almost got put into losers for the first time. I'm pretty sure it would have been the first time over in the Osaka tournaments that they do. I don't think he's ever lost. But he was about to, and he like lands a straight hit and just auto combos, and he wishes for like all of his life back on Vegeta.
I know, it's hilarious.
And then he wins. So I was watching that live, and I was just like, I was dying. I was laughing in my chair. The chat was going crazy.
Oh my god! So to see it,
they instantly clipped it and everything. They're like, not only did you see it in a competitive match, you also saw it from probably the best Dragon Ball player in the world right now. And it just kind of happened, right? Like nobody meant for it to like.
I mean, it's gonna happen again.
If it to come down to 7 Dragon Balls with me having 7 bar, but you know, here I am, so I might as well, right? So it was funny, but I do think it's going to be an incredibly rare occurrence.
Yeah, it's not a legit tactic, but it's definitely something. It sounds like you already have an eye for like when it hits 5. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know if you were paying attention to it at all. And it sounds like when it hits 5, you're already, something is going on in your head.
Yeah, because at least like being aware of it, because if the game does keep dragging on, right, like it does start becoming a possibility. The meter requirement is still like really high, just needing full meter, but once you're at 6 or 7, like, you know, maybe they do like a 60 hit combo on you, and they get the 6th one, and then you hit them 2 more times, and you just auto combo both times. And you get the 7th one, and then you summon Shenron, and you wish for one of the things, and then you win, and everyone's excited.
All right, so another question about gameplay, sparking, right? So I think when Sonic Fox played Chris G was, you know, Winner Brawl. Yeah, Chris G sparked early to save one of his characters. I can't remember which one it was.
It doesn't matter.
But it was very interesting. And it worked at that point. And so I wanted to know from you, like, do you have a set of rules in regards to sparking, like early sparking, late sparking, level 1, level 2, level 3, what you think is worth, when you think it's worth sparking?
I think they're all worth it. They all have situations where they're strong. The level 1 sparking, Chris was doing it at Winter Brawl to basically very, very Marvel mindset to keep his team intact. Most of the time he was doing it, it was because one of his characters was about to die, and he wants all 3 of his characters alive. Either because I haven't picked his brain too hard about it, but I'm just assuming because he he appreciates the synergy his team has, or he feels like when he loses one of those characters, like it's too much, right? Like his team is obviously, obviously your team is strongest at the full number of 3. Yeah. But another thing is that like when you outnumber the other person in team games, it's hard. Sparking is not exactly like X Factor, it's not like this ridiculous, crazy comeback mechanic. It's definitely a comeback mechanic for sure, but it has other applications. And even with X Factor, you saw other applications. They would X Factor on the first hit to kill the other point character, and then just like play the number advantage, right? Like, okay, now obviously it doesn't happen in Dragon Ball because you reset to neutral after you kill a character. But I've also used level 1 sparking to you build a ton of meter in sparking. The amount of meter you build, you get like 2 times meter gain. So you can stock up a ton of meter, like just confirming some random thing into sparking and then doing a combo. With Gohan, he has a hard knockdown setup, like Android 16, basically, where he knocks you down and you have no control over when you get up, like Guilty Gear or something. Or for pretty much every other character in the game, they don't have access to something like that unless it's their level 3. So level 3 supers do hard knockdown. But every other knockdown is like they can hold up and like fly off the ground when they attack. They can hold down and like delay it and do all this dumb stuff. Well, not dumb, but they can do a bunch of things to mess with your momentum, right? So like having a hard knockdown is like, it's crazy.
It's kind of weird that there's only...
I think they should give it to more characters.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird there's only like two characters maybe with that ability.
There's 2 characters, Android 16, which is free. Yeah. Gohan, which costs 1 bar. Yeah. And then everyone has level 3, but that's level 3. So actually...
it's odd.
Yeah, it is kind of an odd decision. But also, like, at first, too, like, at Winter Brawl and, like, tournaments before that, like, locals and stuff, people didn't level 3 that much. Like, even people only level 3, like, when it's going to kill. But here, I've also started doing it a lot more myself, is the level 3 for the momentum. Like, okay, now you have to get up at this exact time, and I can set up off of that. So sparking also does a bunch of stuff to, like, your offensive options. You can jump cancel on block, which is not possible in the game, unless you're in sparking, where you can jump cancel basically any normal at any time that you want. So that alone is really huge. The other thing is that if you're in the air and you hit a button, you can air dash cancel out of it. So you can do like a jumping attack, air dash, and then do another jumping attack, and it's really fast. It's like 2 overheads really fast. So with Gohan, if I've killed their first character and I hit their second character, I'll do my full combo I'll spark and do a full combo and end in the hard knockdown, because I get like a really stupid mix-up right then and there, and if they guess wrong, like, they lose their second character instantly. Or what it does is if they know it's coming, they can wake up and spark right then because it's invincible, so they can get out of the mix-up, but then I remove theirs, right? Like, I used mine, and I did half their life, and then I made them use their sparking to get out of the mix-up, because, like, if they don't feel like they can... I feel like you probably got lucky if you block the setup I do, because there's so many options, and they can all happen so fast that I don't think it's actually reactable. So, like, your best bet would be to wake up sparking if you have it. Because then at least you stop the mix-up. You get some of your life back. But if you've lost a character already, it lasts for 7 seconds, 14 seconds, and then 21 seconds when you're on the last character. So 21 is a long ass time. That's a long time for the other character to be in sparking. So trying to force it out of them before that, if you have the advantage, is really good. Because you basically tell them, like, you're basically telling them, okay, you can try and block this. You're probably going to lose your second character, or you can wake up and use your sparking to get out of it. So you're giving them like a kind of an ultimatum, I guess. Like, make a decision now, or like you're going to be 3v1, which I don't really think is possible. It feels like Marvel 2 in that sense, where
unless you have Android
Android
16.
Yeah.
We saw that yesterday, actually. I think in the Sonic.
I feel like that's people's play though. A lot of the
Vortex
time,
is insane.
they make a mistake and they get the hard knockdown, and then you get put into a mix-up. And if you guess wrong again, yes, like you definitely lose. But it's like if you're progressively losing, you lose that first character in the 3v1. Like it goes back to neutral, right? So like you get to play, like you get to space 16 back out again, right? So if you mess up again,
it just seems
like
his vortex just seems crazy.
Yes, he's really snowbally. But yeah, so I think thinking of it that way, where like you can kill that second character, or some characters will land like that certain hit, and they'll sparking and they'll outright just kill you. Like they'll just do 100% life. You're just dead. So some teams can do that. So that's always a threat. So I feel like level 1 sparking has been coming up, especially from Japan. Japan does it a lot also. So I've been considering it more myself too. Mainly like Goichi or Kazunoko. I think it's because adult Gohan is so strong, but they definitely level 1 spark to like keep him alive.
Yeah.
They'll waste resources to keep him surviving with his assist, because he's the offense is so powerful. So like if you get them to block, like okay, well now you're stuck there for like 10 to 20 seconds, depending on how tight my offense is, or if you guess right or not.
It's insane. Let me ask you another question. Vegeta. So a lot of discussion, based off of Sonic Fox. Actually, Vegeta is trash. Vegeta is a waste of space. Yesterday he didn't appear to be a waste of space. You're saying that maybe you want to switch Vegeta in. What are your thoughts on Vegeta in general?
I think he is good enough as a character. I don't think he is the best, but he does have a couple things that I think are stronger than most characters, actually. Like even some of the top tiers in some ways. But considering that his assist is also probably the best one in the game, so he has the best assist, and he's also a pretty solid character. So I would, I can't say he sucks. Obviously, he has a backwards he has a quarter circle back dragon punch. So
he does,
so what he can do is, while he's blocking, he can sit there and kind of basically just mash the input out, and you can't hit him. Or like there's very specific windows when you could hit him with like a low, like when he gets to back, which is like a very small amount of time. And if there's any gap, like the DP comes out. The other thing is he also has an air DP, which only one other character has, and the other character that has it, their DP is really bad, and it's Beerus. He's the only one with an air DP, and it just loses to a bunch of random stuff. So Vegeta is the only one with an actual air DP, and you actually saw Goichi use it against Sonic multiple times in the first 10. Like Vegeta would be like zoning with his ki blasts in the air, which you can super dash through, but they'd be the normal ones, right? So like it counts as them blocking them, so you can special cancel. So he would react to Sonic super dashing through his ki blast and DP him as he got next to him. So he would air DP him as he came in, and a couple times he would spend his spark on it, because Vegeta can do like the light DP, which is like an anti-air spark, and do a full combo, and it does like 80%. So he would basically just like take 80% of one of Sonic's characters for even like daring to like try to approach Vegeta, and like testing Goichi's reactions, which are fantastic. So it's like being able to do stuff like that. No other character can do stuff like that so far. Nobody has like an invincible move in the air that is a special move to just beat Super Dash.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think that alone is like really valuable, and I think that is probably what kind of pushed me over the edge of actually considering playing him instead of Goku. Was just having that on your team it's ridiculous. Like I think it's definitely the best thing about him, probably.
And not his assist?
And
because everybody
outside of the assist, yeah.
I was gonna say because I saw.
The other thing is that like Vegeta's assist for Gohan is just like so enabling.
Yeah.
That both the other really strong Gohan players outside of myself, they also do it. They use Vegeta. They both use. I'm the only one not using Vegeta. And there's even a NorCal 2 GB combo. There's a NorCal adult Gohan. He's pretty strong, and he has Vegeta on his team too. So it's like, am I the wrong one? You know, like maybe I'm the one who's not playing like the strongest version of my team possible, right? Like, so I've been considering it. I think Goku's strong and he's really fun to play, but you know, it's just the kind of thing where it's like, at the end of the day, I do want to win. So if there's something I could do to make my team better, then what reasoning do I have not to, basically?
And Vegeta is like a super cool character anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For me, at least.
I like him in the show, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Super, yeah, he had a lot of good character development, and I like him a lot. He's a good dad. So
he's a good dad. He is a good dad. I wanted to ask you, do you think there's any characters that have that people are sleeping on right now?
I think mostly everyone outside of the top like 5 or top 6 characters, I think, still have a lot of room to explore. I hear a lot of like Teen Gohan is bad. I don't think he's bad.
Okay.
He's small, you know, he's stubby, so that's obviously a negative point, especially in a game where like losing neutral is so awful.
Yeah.
You know, you lose your character, everything goes out of control. You don't have like a burst mechanic like has like what's been in all the other Arxis games. Is like if you get hit, you can burst out of the combo.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people are like, why can't you sparking when you're getting hit? It's like, well, they decided not to let you. So, but I think he's being slept on a lot. He definitely needs like a team, but like some of these characters like need teams built around them. I feel like people are like Beerus is so bad, but it's like he has some cool stuff, like some really strong stuff. It's just like he can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's not like Cell or 16 or Gohan. He's not like one of the best supports in the game, and like Goku Black or Vegeta, or even 16. You know, 16 also has a completely ridiculous assist. So it's just that like it also feels weird because a lot of these characters that aren't seeing a lot of play, they have cool stuff, but the top tiers can do the cool stuff that they do anyway. So it's like, okay, why would I play them? So I can't, you know, you can't really do anything about that right now. It's just like
We're still learning.
People are still learning. People want to win.
It only takes one person, honestly, to like. That's the thing I've noticed. You know, throughout watching years of fighting games, and particularly Street Fighter, it only takes one person to turn a character
upside down.
Exactly. All right, so I wanted to ask you. Actually, we've been touching on it a little bit. Let's just talk about that 1st to 10 yesterday. By the time this video goes out, Sonic Fox might have won the tournament, right? Which would be interesting as well. But obviously yesterday we had the 1st to 10 exhibition, and what was it, 10-4? 10 to 4. Somebody told me the Guiji one has actually never been beaten more than like 3 or 4 games in 1st to 10.
In Dragon Ball, I don't know his history with 1st to 10s, but in Dragon Ball, like I mentioned a little earlier, nobody in Japan has actually beaten him yet in tournament. Wow. He has not lost a tournament. Wow. So that alone is like it's impressive, right? Like obviously, a lot of people thought he would win. There's no way that he didn't want to do better, right? Like, you're a competitor, you don't want to lose. But Guichi's really strong. I personally, like, everyone was betting on it and everything like that. That was obviously going on, or like their predictions. I stayed out of it because I actually wasn't sure.
Really?
I play anime, Air Dash. I play Melty Blood. I know who Goichi is.
Yeah.
He is the best Melty Blood player ever. He plays like 10 characters in that game. Okay. Like, he will play like his 7th best character, and people in like the other super strong players in Japan cannot beat him. Yeah. Like he's basically just messes with them, right? And then like if he ever needs to, he picks his main character and you lose. That's it, right? You lose like 3-0. It's not even close. And it's like nobody can beat him in that game. It's insane. So knowing that he was like, he's such a strong player, and like he's played other games. He's played Guilty Gear. He's played BlazBlue, and like he's solid. He's better than a lot of America, but he's not a top player, even by like U.S. standards, in my opinion. Like in BlazBlue, he would definitely beat most people. But like SKD, myself, some other players.
Sorry, people, the camera cut off, but we're going to carry on, and we're going to continue to talk about Sonic Fox versus Goichi. You were talking about Goichi being pretty amazing at Melty Blood.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you really is, what were your thoughts on the first to 10? Did you think it was going to be that like 10-4?
Before it happened, I was really neutral about it, just because both of their histories as players. Sonic Fox is obviously one of the best at what he does as well. So beforehand, another reason was that there's not a hit player on Sonic's level in Japan, as far as I've seen. So one of the things keeping me from kind of leaning towards Goichi taking the first to 10 was that, like, how is he going to deal with that, like on the fly? Obviously they training mode a lot. Undoubtedly people, watch his videos, labbed against him. People probably sent Goichi stuff, like labbed it for him, gave him advice. But it's not the same as playing. You can have a reaction to something, but you still have to do it before it's actually a reaction, because you don't normally think about stuff like that in something like so fast-paced as fighting games. A lot of stuff is subconscious, and you kind of review in between matches. You think about it for a few seconds, or maybe while you're getting comboed or while you're comboing them, like you have a second to stop and think. But as the match is like actually going on and nobody's been hit yet, like that, it's really hard to have a fluent thought, I guess. So a lot of things are like, they've played thousands of games. Like, I've done this so many times. So I was interested how he would react to hit, but his adaptation defense is like insane. So the first couple games went pretty much exactly how I thought they were going to go. I was like, Sonic's definitely going to win like most of the early games, like easily. Even if Goichi wins the set, Sonic's going to win early games for sure, because hit's going to get rolling or something like that, and Goichi's not going to be ready. And it's pretty much exactly what happened. But then he just adapted to it. He tweeted out too after the set that he was really impressed with Sonic just converting off of literally anything. Like, if he caught him blocking, if he caught him with like some weird stray hit, like he was starting his game off of it. So it might have just been like a courtesy. I feel like he was being serious, because Goichi looked like he was playing hard, like in the first to 10 too. Like he was playing well, but he was trying very hard.
You saw him celebrate, like in a way that you don't normally see Japanese players celebrate.
He was happy to win. He was relieved it was over too. Like that. That's also a long set in Dragon Ball. Like, people were joking when the game came out. They're like, "Yeah, let's do first to 5, like first to 3," and I was like, "Please no! Like this game takes way longer than that." But so it was like I don't know. I kind of took away from both of them. The offense from Sonic was amazing, and Goichi's defense was just even better. So, obviously, in an ideal world, you just don't get hit, right? Which was what happened pretty much. Was Goichi just stopped getting hit. So, like, how do you win?
Did you see any new stuff in there? Like, did you feel like you learned anything new, or you just felt like the adaptation was just two really strong players and some great adaptation?
I think it was mainly just the adaptation from Goichi. Just being really strong. I'd been watching for a while, so I didn't like see anything new. But just looking at how strong players respond to things is, I guess that's always something new too. Like, okay, what do they do in this situation? Are they just going to try to block it out? One of the things he started doing a lot was tagging out during gaps. in the corner, like he would risk tag out because raw tag is pretty strong in this game. There was 2 instances where this happened that I was impressed with it, where Sonic had hit out and he did the jab into the little command grab unblockable, and he tagged out of it. Like I don't know if it was on reaction, but he definitely tagged out of it and punished Sonic for going for it. And another time where he did something very similar, which was hits jab into the low stomp, and as it was coming down, he tagged out and punished him for it. So I was like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't like. Obviously, I'm not him, so I'm not 100% sure. Like, was it reaction? Was it like some kind of like option select thing? But I was like, it was definitely something to start considering for defense, because the only way you can really just beat that is to jab and then like wait and like see what they do. But like if you do that, then maybe they just start mashing on you or something, and it's not your turn anymore. So there's all that RPS going on. But that was probably the biggest technical thing I took away from them playing, because I've been watching his Gohan, seeing if he was doing anything I didn't know about, which was no. He's just a lot better than me. So just kind of seeing how he played against Sonic too. I only got to play Sonic like once, which was at the Winter Brawl team tournament, and I got completely destroyed. But so I was interested in seeing how he would fight him, mainly too, because actually, I don't know how it's going right now, but it's obviously going to be over by the time the video comes out, is if I win my match later, coming out of pools, and Sonic wins his, me and Sonic play. So kind of coming up with a way to beat him too, because he's in my way. So
better go over those.
It was helpful for me too, but it also gave him the extra Gohan experience also.
Yeah. I bet he's pretty sick of Go.
I told him stuff like how to beat certain stuff, because I wanted to see him do well against Goichi, so it was just like, but I didn't meet him too long ago, but we hit it off pretty well, so, I consider him a good friend. So if I lose my good friend, what can you say? Can't be mad about that, so.
That's
kicking myself, possibly.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Guigi may have tired him out. You never know. Is good. I mean, one of my questions was going to be, who's your favorite player to watch right now? It can be in any game. And why?
Tokido.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play Street Fighter a lot. But I really like Akuma. I think Street Fighter V Akuma is incredibly cool. I think he's like the coolest character in the game. I play Akuma in like every Street Fighter, like CVS2, like Akuma's on my team. But it's also that I'm not, I'm not like one of the younger players. Like I'm young, right? Yeah. Like by real life standards, but like by fighting game community standards, but player wise, like I am definitely getting on the older side. But last year, watching Tokido like win Evo and stuff like that, after for like so long he hadn't won Evo, right? Like it was like a needle in his side. Well, not a needle; it's much bigger than that. But he'd been trying for years. He'd been trying to win Evo.
He came second to Xian that one year.
Yeah, and just and he's not young either. By fighting game player standards, he's definitely on the older side. But seeing him still succeed, obviously, like he's an amazing player, incredible player, regardless of his age. But he's an inspiring player for me too. Just that I am getting older, but doesn't mean I can't do it anymore either.
He's very professional. He's constantly. He doesn't care what anyone thinks. He's constantly innovating in terms of like how he prepares himself for matches and all that sort of stuff, I'm a big fan as well. The meditating, the running,
the tape,
the tape, the running up and down, the trying to get the blood pumping, the stretching, the exercise he does, the diet he has, I talked to him about
his lifestyle.
Yeah, I've talked to him about all of this stuff. Like his whole lifestyle is designed around his dream and his profession. Yeah, it's fun. All right. One of the couple of questions regarding like people who are learning the game. If you wanted to, this question is for me.
That's fine.
If you wanted to just jump in and with some very simple characters, just to get kind of like the groove of the game, what would be a suggestion, like in terms of like a team?
Like any Saiyans.
Any Saiyans?
Yeah, any of the Saiyans. They're all really easy to pick up.
Yeah.
I think the hardest one, personally, is probably Gohan, but he's also the best one.
Okay.
So I mean, you can't go wrong there. But like like Goku, Vegeta. Actually, Trunks is also pretty difficult. So maybe not Trunks. He has like a couple interesting things he can do that aren't like, they don't hit you. It's like, he has like the flip, right? So he can like move around with the flip. But like Vegeta's really easy and has an amazing assist. So it's like, okay, I have Vegeta on my team. Cool. Goku's pretty strong. He has a good assist. Goku Black is very easy and also very, very strong.
Yeah, he has some really good stuff to get around.
Gigantic buttons, like king of neutral.
We have Bardock coming.
Yeah,
so,
Bardock, I hope, and Broly, 2 more Saiyans.
Right,
so.
but Bardock, you're going to be able to play father, son, son.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Grandfather, father.
Yeah, grandfather, father, son. Yeah. A family.
But yeah, I think picking up the Saiyans is definitely an easy starter team. Just whichever ones you feel like playing, just play them.
Cool. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making online, and what should people? I guess what should people focus on as they're learning the game?
I think one of the things that people make a mistake outside of like combos and stuff, a huge mistake even for like tournament players, is that they don't value killing. They value their meter over a dead character. So like if you touch a character and you have like 6 bars, but it would kill them, you should definitely spend the 6 bars and just kill them. Like, you'll get the meter back. They won't get their character back, right?
Yeah.
And they're out in assists too. They're out an option to tag in, like stuff like that. So I think people need to up the importance of that. But I feel like that's also just like team game inexperience. This is a lot of people's first versus game. 'Cause Dragon Ball is a versus game. It's a 3v3 team fighter. But otherwise, it's people's kind of like full screen options are usually pretty bad, especially online. People would just like randomly, they won't even call an assist and then super dash. Like they'll just super dash full screen because it's online and there's a few frames of delay and it's harder to anti-air. So they think it works. They're like, yeah, this is smart. It's working. But just because it's working doesn't mean it's like an intelligent thing to do, I guess.
Or it's going to work offline.
Yeah. Like you'll do it offline. Okay, why am I losing all of a sudden?
So you're going to create bad habits, basically.
Yeah, so just bad habits, like weird vanishes, it costs a bar. So like it does cost your meter, and like they'll just do it. And I'm just like, did you, like, even if it hits them, like if you just do it in neutral, like all it does is hits them and it flings them across the screen. So it's like, did you get anything from that? Like, I'm not sure why you would do that.
Did you have any big aha moments? Like, I'm sure you did, but are there any that stand out where you were playing the game and then you had this moment where you were like, okay, this game is about this or something?
Not so far. I feel like I kind of went in with my own idea of how to play the game from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think I've stuck to it still for the most part.
Okay.
Do you have trying to watch the game develop? I think I wasn't wrong. Like maybe I was a little off. I don't know, but okay. I feel like
you've probably got the Arxis experience, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like the offense, like your actual choices on offense were like very similar to BlazBlue. Like not defensively, but offensively, I've pretty much stuck to the exact kind of like my default options, I guess. Like the way I just kind of naturally think about it, I just do it.
So it wasn't a hard adaptation.
No, and just because like there's not a lot of like high-low stuff in the game unless you have like assists. But as far as like the block strings go, like you can delay your normals like so much that even if you do something like really negative, like you could hit another button so late that you'll just beat them trying to punish you. So like resetting your block string and stuff like that. The character I play in Blaze was like really similar to that kind of like play style. She has like a specific button to like stop her attack early, and like if you don't react to it, like she just gets to start over again. So it's like, okay, this is my kind of thing. Like I already do this in another game, but otherwise, like my aha stuff has just been like dealing with like certain mechanics, like Vanish, like I mentioned earlier. That was a big one for me. I was like, wow, like this is like super fake. You know, I was like, if I can react to all of this, like. You know, people are like, how do I keep people off of me? Like, they just, like, do something and vanish and they're plus on block. I'm like, well, like, you can actually just beat it sometimes. Or, like, you can use the reflect mechanic at least and stop the offense, right? Go back to neutral, which is better than being negative on block and, like,
in the corner you can go into...
you can punish them.
You can go into combo.
Yeah. If they vanish into the corner behind you and you reflect it, you just get to punish them, which is huge.
Yeah.
They lost a bar and a ton of their life, so that was a definitely big moment for me. I'm still working on actually having the muscle memory response for it too, because we basically, like me and like a couple other people, like we basically like hashed that out like a week ago, you know, or maybe a little longer. But there hasn't been like a tournament since then or anything, so I haven't actually had a chance to like implement it. So I've been doing that in my pool. I did that in my pool matches. I was just trying to do it, and then in my casuals with people, I've been trying to work on it. So it's not 100% there, but it's getting there.
What is your training?
But even like when we were watching the first of 10, they were both getting away with it a lot. And I told Sonic afterwards, I was like, there was a match where Goichi did a vanish that was not safe, like 5 times to you in a row. He was doing like Vegeta's kick special move into vanish, but there's a gap no matter what. It doesn't matter if he does it like the frame it hits you, like there's a gap. So like he had like some meter and he could have just reversaled and just killed Goichi. Like he still won that match, but I was just like, this could just be over. Like it could be over right here, right here, right here, right here. So like even Japan is not like onto that yet. So I like finding stuff out about the game, even if, you know, I'm not the best player. I like knowing about it, you know. Even, you know, if I'm going to talk to somebody about it, I want to know what I'm talking about.
What is it? Talking of that, that was going to be my next question. Is do you have a strict training schedule, or is it kind of a little looser? Like what, you know? What
I feel like it pretty much.
Yeah. What does it involve? What types of things?
A lot of times, I'll do like daily training mode. Sometimes I don't really have a goal when I go into training mode. I feel like if you're a new player, you definitely should, because there's always probably like big important things to work on if you're newer. But as you go, like it gets more psychological, I guess, kind of. Or just like game knowledge. So sometimes I'll mess around with other characters. I usually training mode off stream because I feel like sitting there in training mode can be kind of boring, especially if you're sitting there doing something really repetitive. I'll practice my combos here and there to make sure that, you know, I can do them when I need to do them. Make sure my execution's still okay. But otherwise, it's checking stuff that I don't know about, I guess, that I've thought of. You know, like if I was watching a tournament and there was like a character doing a bunch of stuff. I guess one big one that keeps happening recently is NLBC, Hook Gang God, the Piccolo player. Everyone is just dying to Piccolo, dying to like the Hellzone Grenade Oki. So I was like, all right, let's go into training mode to figure out how to deal with this. So I spent a good bit in training mode, like figuring out ways to at least mitigate it, right? Like make it not so bad. And I found some good stuff. I've also talked to some other Piccolo players, like, you know, pick their brain about it, get that too. So a lot of information doesn't necessarily come from me, right? Like I'll take, you know, just like aggregating the information. Right? Like so a lot of people training mode stuff and they let me know about it. I'm like, that's really cool. Like let me see if I can maybe find something else with this too. So it's like a community effort, and it's been really nice for this game too, is that there's so many people playing it and everyone's so excited about it that there's just a flood of information like all the time.
I mean, it's what's interesting about it is one of the few times in fighting games where it's not it's a franchise that everybody knows, Dragon Ball, right?
But
And it's had a whole bunch of other games, but it doesn't have this history.
It's the first game.
Exactly. It's not like okay, I have the Daigos and Taquitos of this world who've been doing this for 20 years, or the Smash Brothers gods, or like I go into Injustice and Sonic Fox has been dominating this for years. You know, it's like it doesn't have a history.
Yeah.
And so everybody can just jump in right now and create history, you know, and that's why I think it's just so cool. One of the things that's so cool about it. Now, talking about cool things, which team would you pick if it was just picked purely on emotional,
Anybody?
just purely on emotional attachment to the anime characters?
Okay. Team Gohan. Probably just Goku. I like Goku. And Android 18 for sure.
Yeah, you know what? That says a lot. That says a lot about you, because those are really cool characters. They're
A character I don't have any emotional attached to, but I really, really want in the game is Janemba. Like, very badly, I want that character to be in the game because I thought he was a really cool villain. Like, he had a lot of.
Why do people think he's so cool? I see a lot.
I don't know. He has like a sword.
Yeah.
Like he has some cool attacks, I guess, and I think they'd be really neat in a fighting game.
I just felt like he didn't have any history, but like, you know,
he
like
got like immediately beat the hell up by Vegeta.
he just suddenly transforms.
Very
This guy.
disappointing.
He looks cool. Yeah, he looks cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have no emotional attachment to what. If you say Janemba sucks, I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think he'd make a really neat fighting game character too. So I would really like to see him in the game. And
that's
like all the DLC leaks don't have him, so I'm just like, this better not be true, or I'm gonna be upset.
I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited for Videl because I mean, if they're true, but like the DLC leaks, you know, with second season it says Videl with Saiyaman.
Yeah, Great Saiyaman.
Yeah, Great Saiyaman, and like, oh god, I just think that'd be so funny, especially if she has her pigtails, like, you know.
Man of taste.
Yeah. Anyway,
Videl.
yeah, exactly.
Flux is sitting off over there on the side, but we were like arguing earlier about Videl. He's like, nah, short hair Videl, and I was like, pigtails, man. He's like, no. And I was like, all right, we're gonna stop talking about.
She's
this.
like short hair's like mum Videl. Like, no, you want like spunky kind of like college, you know, ready to fight. Yeah, that was when she kicked ass, you know. All right, so we've got the Broly trailer, and we know Bardock's coming. So give me your thoughts on the Broly trailer.
He looks pretty funny to me. Just because he's so huge. I've never seen a character that big in a fighting game. Like, he's like as tall as the health bars almost. Yeah. So I'm really curious what they're going to do about that, honestly. Because if he's that big, he's going to obviously be... Is he going to crouch really low? Like, is he going to get like on all fours or something? Like, how... Because like characters can hit buttons while they're going up. Like, what if he just gets hit by all of them and they're just a bunch of overheads and nobody wants to play Brawly because...
Okay.
So
do you think he has a...
theorizing about like what they might do to prevent that. Like, I feel like he might just have like natural armor, like super armor against like jabs. Is what I'm like kind of scared of that. I'm just like, you really want to put that in the game? But they might. I don't know.
They certainly haven't shown that. But what they did show was a throw which looks
like
to me,
auto combo. Yeah, please keep that out of the game. I really don't like that, but he probably has it too. So.
I got a funny feeling he probably has it too. I just feel like they want to introduce...
They're going to get the Goku Dunk Squad going, right? You're going to get like Brawly, 16, and then some other... Frieza, I guess, you know, because he hates Goku the most.
Yeah.
Cell just wanted to fight and then blow up the Earth.
Or you could have the hard knockdown squad, which would...
Yeah, you'd have Gohan. Yeah, adult Gohan, 16, and Brawly.
The Vortex Squad. Wow. And do you have any thoughts or hopes about Bardock?
I'm hopeful for him because I've played a lot of the Dragon Ball fighting games.
Oh, you have.
And Bardock's always really cool. So I feel like he's just kind of like he's just Goku, but he punches a lot with fire. So I'm like, that's like Soul from Guilty Gear, I guess, but it's Goku. So.
All right, yeah,
right up my alley.
I've definitely heard that he has a completely different fighting style. Like he's a closer fighter or grappler or whatever.
Yeah, he uses like ki in the movie, brief, like once or twice, but mainly he's like I'm gonna come beat the shit out of you, basically.
Pretty basic fighter.
He's grumpy Goku. He's Goku but grumpy.
That's awesome. So I know that you're not playing any additional fighting games at the moment. You're just focusing on Dragon Ball FighterZ, is what you said. I'm assuming you're going to continue and probably take that to go to Evo and play at Evo.
Yeah, my original plan was to take at least the first couple months off, but I feel like it's been going pretty well, so I'll probably extend how long I'm not going to play other games for now, and at least until Evo. After Evo, there's always that big lull in the even though there's tournaments coming up, that's like the one for the community. So it's like, okay, now I can relax a little bit. Evo's over.
Do you think you
maybe mess around with another game? I've actually been thinking here and there about playing Street Fighter, and everyone's like, nah, don't do that. And I was like, but Akuma's so cool. And they're like, oh, you play Akuma? Like, yeah, you should play Street Fighter. And I'm just like, but then they're like, but you're gonna be really upset when you fight Abigail. And I'm just like, I turn the stream off every time I see that matchup. Like, I don't want to watch that. It looks depressing.
There's a couple of characters. There are definitely a couple of characters now that I think are much more rewarding. Goichi plays Menat, and
she's really
and
cool.
and
She's really cool.
Sako plays her too, and like the one thing that everyone kept saying was you can't do Sako combos that's like the meme, right? You can't do Sako
To do that. That's old. That's like lore. That's not even like a meme. Because like he played like VSAV, the Balletta combos.
And they were saying that in this game you just can't do that in this game, right? In Street Fighter 5.
Oh, and there's no combos. Yeah, I get you.
Well, Sako is now doing the Sako combos with Menat, because she's the one character I think who's super complicated.
Yeah, she's like the V-trigger combo stuff. Yeah. With six different orbs. Yeah,
exactly. So there's a multitude of millions of different possibilities, I suppose. But yeah, Akuma is definitely one of those characters where it's like, all right, well, Akuma is. I want to see more characters like Akuma in this game with more options, so people can express themselves.
Yeah, well, even like mentioning stuff like the options, like, we were talking about like Dragon Ball characters earlier, like, I don't necessarily want them to nerf the top tier. I want the other characters to have more options like that too, like more completed characters, because it's not necessarily that like the option they have is too good, it's the fact that they have it at all, where it's like no one else in the cast does. 16 and adult Gohan, nobody else in the cast has hard knockdown. That's why it's like, this is unfair. It's like, why do only these two characters get it? It's like, well, if you gave it to more characters, offense would definitely like start getting out of hand. But that's why I kind of like wanted them to maybe give everyone like a 1-bar like hard knockdown special, like maybe make them do it really early in the combo, so it's like an early decision, and they don't get a ton of damage for doing it. You could try to be creative with how you implement it, but I'd like to see them do that, and also like buff the guard cancel at the same time and make defense a little more realistic against those kind of things. But I feel like it would make the game more fun. Personally, that's my opinion. I know there's plenty of people out there who like the hard knockdown shouldn't be in the game, which is probably also why we keep seeing games that don't have hard knockdown anymore. Like even in Street Fighter 5, like when do you get hard knockdown? Like very rarely do you get hard knockdown. It's supers, crush counters, and like Akuma V-trigger DP, and probably a bunch of other like little random stuff in the game that I'm not aware of. But in general, Akuma, like that's my example I have right now. You do Tatsu and the Shoryuken.
It's a shame. I like Oki. I think it.
Yeah, but there's people out there that don't.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the tangent.
I did actually want to ask you: are you interested in BlazBlue X Tag Battle? Considering you're a BlazBlue player.
No, I'm not.
Why?
To me, it's not BlazBlue. The mechanics of the game are entirely different, and it basically just has the characters. It has the characters with their moves and the name of the game, but it's not going to play anything like the game. So for me, I didn't start playing BlazBlue because I was like, wow, I love all the characters. I love this series. I played BlazBlue because I was playing the game and I was like, this game's really fun. Yeah. I really like this game. And now that it's just going to be something entirely like not even close to like. It doesn't look like it's gonna be anywhere close to like what BlazBlue is. You know, there's like all the auto combos, like you have the weird special moves, and you know, like the do a special move and then tag out, like all that kind of stuff. It's like that's not why I play BlazBlue. So my interest for it is really low right now. They added like my favorite BlazBlue character is new 13. She's in, which kind of like maybe I'll try it. I don't know, like maybe. But even now, like they keep announcing more and more characters, but I'm just like.
All right, so let's move on to well, actually non-FGC, but still video games.
Okay.
Do you play other video games?
Yeah.
What are some of your games that you like?
I usually, when I'm not playing fighting games, I generally play a lot of RPGs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just recently finished the new Xenoblade on the Switch. It took me like 120 hours. I loved every second of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've been like, what? Because the reviews are just so. I don't know. The reviews are a bit down on it.
I don't trust RPG reviews almost ever.
Okay.
Because a lot of people review RPGs and it's like not their kind of game, you know, especially like JRPGs, right? Like that's definitely like its own little niche of the genre. And not everybody likes it, but like I'm all there for it. Like that's me. That's my kind of content.
Do you have a favorite video game of all time? Or is that too difficult to ask?
I think it's too hard for me. I definitely have like
do you have an emotional attachment to a couple of, maybe
the recent Nier. The Nier, like Drakengard games,
really?
like yeah, absolutely.
I have Nier.
So I just bought a new stick, but my old stick has the main character from Drakengard 3 on it. That was my stick art.
Okay.
So she's like my favorite character.
I have Nier. You're gonna kill me, but I have Nier at home. I have Persona. Haven't played it. I have it at home, sitting at home. I bought all these things in the sale, right? So I buy physical copies so I can sell them back. That's just the way I operate. So I have Nier at home, I have Persona 5 at home, and I have Monster Hunter at home, and I haven't played any of them.
I'm a huge Monster Hunter player too. So yeah, Monster Hunter is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. I could say that for sure. Okay. I've been playing Monster Hunter since the first one.
It's nice to know that
2004 or something like that on the PS2.
Okay.
That game sucked, but the nostalgia is there for it, and then all the other ones after it were really fun. Monster Hunter World's a ton of fun. I think my save is already at like 200-300 hours or something like that. I've played it a lot. Wow. There was like a week or two where I like didn't play Dragon Ball at all, and I felt kind of bad about it. I was like, I'm playing Monster Hunter.
Sometimes you have to take a break though, and you come back and you have new ideas. So.
Yeah, that too. You know, you don't want to tire yourself out of the game. But usually it's RPGs. I definitely have big emotional attachments to like the Yoko Taro games.
Okay.
I also Valkyrie Profile 1. That's an oldie. But if you haven't played it, you should. If you play RPGs, it's a PlayStation game. Good luck finding it. You probably have to emulate it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They put out a teaser because it was like an anniversary for the game. They put out a teaser, and I got super excited, and they're like, it's a mobile port. And I was just like, the game's not on PSN. So I was hoping that maybe they were finally putting the game on PlayStation Network so I could play it on an actual console. No.
Yeah, they put Chrono Trigger on PC, but it's like that's like mobile.
It was the mobile.
Why? Why? It's so weird.
So
anyway,
everybody's like, I hate this. But yeah, I play a lot of other games. I used to play League. Played World of Warcraft a lot. I played Final Fantasy 14 a lot. You know, just like MMO kind of stuff. I'm a big RPG guy.
Yeah.
And fighting games. Yeah.
All right, so
sucked a lot of my life.
So I don't know if this question is relevant or not because it sounds like you spend a lot of time playing video games. But what other activities are you into? You know, like do you have any hobbies that you're passionate about, or new hobbies, or you know, or like TV shows or anime or whatever? Like, what are sort of other stuff? What's a little window into your life in terms of other things that you're interested in?
So I haven't done it recently, just because I moved and I didn't keep some of my stuff, so I like lost it all. I used to read a lot of books. I had a big book collection.
Okay.
And I lost all of them. So I haven't been reading much. It's like, it's kind of like, I guess, you know, like the video game analogy. It's like if somebody accidentally overwrote your save and you're just like, I don't really want to play anymore. It's like I lost all my books. So I was just like, man. So I don't read too often anymore. I'm always reading on the internet or something like that. So I still read, but I don't have like the physical book. I never got into like the Kindle thing. Like I liked having the book in my hand to read it. I used to be into martial arts when I was younger, but I got lazy when I got out of high school. I stopped. I started working out again recently because I was like, I sit around too much. Which is, fighting game player. You see like all the professionals doing it too. Like Tokida's working out all the time. Like the esports League of Legends players, like they got coaches and.
It's really good for you. It's really good for the head as well.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I'm tired a lot. So it's like I'm sure like I'm just not taking care of my body well enough. So
there's a lot of.
I started like trying to get into that, like actually make that a lifestyle thing. And there's even like he just walked by Yipes. Like Yipes lost a ton of weight. He looks fantastic. Yeah. So it's like, maybe I should. I'm also not like a young little kid anymore. So I do actually need to think about that. I feel like.
I mean, all those lifestyle choices will affect your gameplay.
Yeah.
Maybe
working out is the answer. And I'll just.
There's a ton.
Goku's always working out, so why shouldn't I?
There's a ton of science in regards to exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, and how it affects the brain. And I can tell you right now that when I spend a couple of weeks exercising, it's reflected in when I play Street Fighter. Like a lot of things change in terms of like my reactions, my reads, my responses, how I approach the game. And I'm not a top level good player at all, but I level up. Yeah. So I'm a big proponent of exercise for sure. So that's good to hear. All right, so we're going to finish this interview because it's the longest interview ever, but it's fun. It's been a lot of fun.
You can advertise it that way. Longest interview ever.
Yeah, longest interview. Yeah.
I don't know if that'll bring in all the viewers, but
yeah. No, it's not. That's not exactly clickbait.
No.
So the last question is the question I always ask, which is there anything that you wished I'd asked you, or a topic, or something that you wanted to say?
Not particularly. I guess I'm surprised I didn't get any like personal life questions, which I wouldn't mind talking about.
That usually comes second time. I always start, because like there's already
a lot to talk about usually too.
Yeah, there's already enough to talk about. Like it usually can't. Like second time round, it's like more life questions.
That makes sense then. So I understand that one.
There's a process. There's a process. Don't worry.
Yeah, that was probably it. I was like coming into this, I was like, wonder if I'm gonna have to give like my life story or something like that. But this is very game focused, which is perfectly fine.
Well,
yeah, that was probably the only one. Not like I wish you asked me, but I was expecting it.
The life
I was expecting. Okay.
Well, if you want to know Nakkiel's life story, you need to tune into his stream. So, what is your stream? Where can they find you?
My stream is twitch.tv/Nakkiel_PNW for Pacific Northwest. If anyone was wondering what the hell that meant. So my Twitter handle is NakkielPNW, no underscore. So that's the only difference between my Twitter and my Twitch. And I also have a YouTube channel under the same name. It's been a little inactive lately since the first week of Dragon Ball, but there's new stuff coming soon, so I hope you guys tune in and enjoy it.
You should take some of your stream stuff and just...
I started to, yeah. I think last week I just threw my VOD up on YouTube. I was just like, somebody's going to freaking upload it anyways, so I might as well put it on my channel and get the views for me. But yeah, I gotta edit it a little bit, take out the little funny moments on the stream, put it on my YouTube.
Yeah,
little clickbait there.
Absolutely. All right, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. Learned a lot today about Dragon Ball, which is awesome, and I wish you luck in the tournament. And by the time this video comes out, we'll know how Nakkiel has done at final round, but definitely follow him, and I'll leave the links below so that you can do that. Anyway, we're going to say goodbye now, so peace out, guys.
See ya.